again. My name is Gabe Zolna. Well, the Supreme Court right now, and this is on the 18th of March 2013, they're reviewing and they're listening to the arguments and they're, I guess, reviewing the evidence with regard to Arizona's proof of citizenship law. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges saying that Arizona doesn't have a right to verify that someone's a citizen before they vote, I mean, if they did that, Obama could never have been elected. I mean, that would never, that wouldn't have worked. The Chicago machine couldn't have overcome that hurdle. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because, there's two people on the Supreme Court that owe their existence on the Supreme Court to the usurper. He's the guy that sort of slid him in there. And one of them was like his lead attorney, Elena Kagan. She sort of buried his old past. So I can't see how they can vote impartially on this, you know what I mean? Can you see how they can vote impartially? Because maybe you can clue me in. I can't see how they could, because they know that the administration's in favor of eliminating any kind of proof being required pretty much anywhere, They don't even like people having to do voter ID, photo ID. Yeah, they don't like that. Because it makes things difficult for them to have people vote that shouldn't be voting. It makes them difficult to track people like the lady in Ohio who voted, 6 times for 8 different people. You know what I mean? Now she's doing, I think, a stretch of 12. I think she got 12 years. But she's not alone. There's a whole lot of them that did exactly the same thing. It's pretty easy when you don't have to show any kind of ID, you know what I mean? You just walk in and say, hey, especially if you have access to the voter rolls. Yeah, that's the key. The voter rolls are the key. That's how Bozo stole the election, through the voter rolls. But anyway, this isn't about Bozo. This is about the Supreme Court. So now, they're going to have a tough time. Because, again, I don't think that the Supreme Court's no longer impartial. I think, for the reasons that I've already stated with Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor, I also think that some of the other justices might have been compromised. Because, that Chicago machinery under propaganda minister David Axelrod, he is good. I mean, he'll probably dig up anything and everything that he needs to dig up on these folks. I don't know, there was something about John Boehner's, I don't know, it wasn't John Boehner, it was John Roberts, yeah. I get the Johns mixed up, I apologize. But there was something about John Roberts and the adoption of his 2 daughters that might have been, who knows, I don't know. I just think it's pretty amazing how you can't trust anybody anymore, can you? Nah. Do we have a true justice system? I don't think so. Obama has done his best to skew it, which is why he's put, hundreds and hundreds of homosexuals in federal judge positions. Anyway, enough of this. We'll have to wait to see what the Supreme Court does, if anything, in regard to proof of citizenship. And towards the end of this month, they're going to be reviewing the Defense of Marriage Act. The one that Billy Bob Clinton signed into law. Yeah, he signed it into law. And then he sort of regretted having done that. But he did it I think in 1996. It's been there for a while. But now he's sort of turned the corner, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so has his wife, amazingly enough. But listen, I did a video on that a little while ago. You might want to take a look at it. But anyway, as far as what the Supreme Court's doing right now, it'll be interesting to see what comes of this case, as well as what comes of the Marriage Defense Act and what they say about it. Yeah? The Supreme Court's got a lot of things to worry about. They got to look up Obamacare. It was done in the Senate, and it can't be a tax. If it's a tax, it's got to come from the House. I mean, they got their plate full. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I think it's full of crap. What do you think?